Bushland Coffee Company was founded so the community would have a convenient location to connect with others while enjoying healthy drinks and nutritious snacks. Our mission is to nourish our customers and our community with our culture and our coffee. Our values include joyful service, healthy nutrition, and community fellowship. Come by and get a drink and a snack Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 7 to 6 p.m. Go Falcons!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Area Round Coaches Show. Coach Reynolds, Chris Welch, Mark Webb here, ready to break down last week's bi-district matchup against Lamesa, and then look ahead as we have a big game tomorrow night in Lubbock, Texas at Lowry Field, 7:30 kickoff. Praise the Lord Jesus for that.
Not 7.
It's 7:30 kickoff. Tomorrow night in Lubbock. And so, Coach, congratulations on the big win last week.
Thank you.
1-0 in playoffs now. So that's we talked about that last week. You know, everybody starts off 0-0. We're 1-0 now. So
yeah, it's good to get the first one. You can't get to that second round, you know, if you don't win the first one. And then that's the thing that's different, you know, now as you go through the season and even district, you know, you're learning from things, you're still trying to correct things, and you have the opportunity to fix that the next week. And now you're in that time of year where, you know, you either win or you go home, you know, and there's no fixing anything for the next week. So really excited for our guys to get that gold ball and to win that matchup. Well, I think we talked about last week, it wasn't an easy matchup. You know, they were the 2 seed, could have very easily been the 1 seed. They did some things well, especially offensively, that we knew that they were going to do. And, you know, they showed that a little bit in the first half, but it was great for our kids and very deserving of our kids, and especially our seniors, to be able to fight through that game and just stick to the process, keep your composure, you know, and keep playing football and pull away from them.
did Lamesa surprise you at all with anything? Because we talked last week about how you knew they scored points all year long. You know, their offense, they've got offensive weapons, definitely. Did anything come out and surprise you that they threw at us? Because honestly, we shut them out in the second half.
Yeah.
So that first half, Chris and I were like, "Whoa, we in for a little battle here." You know, anything shock you at all?
No, I mean, nothing they did. You know, there's always going to be some different wrinkles. They threw probably a gel screen or two that we really hadn't seen to some slot receivers. But overall, you know, I thought, you know, they were big up front too. And we knew they were, but once you got there, maybe in the white jerseys they're wearing, I don't know, but they were big bodies up front. And,
they were for sure.
We didn't do a great job getting pressure probably the first half, you know, but as the game wore on, and I think we got those guys, especially as we started getting a 10-point lead, you know, a 3-possession lead, I thought we really pinned our ears back, and our front really did a good job of getting pressure on those guys, and kind of, you know, you saw the pick. You know, I know Lawler got in there one time. He didn't get the sack, but as soon as the quarterback threw it, he had him on his back. Yeah. And, you know, I don't think he was the same after that. And then he threw the pick that Lanham picked off, you know, later in the game. So, you know, like I said, a really good job by our defensive staff to make those adjustments and change up some coverages, you know, a little bit the second half, and what we were showing in our defensive front and getting some pressure.
I think there were 3 plays in a row there in the third quarter that Mark and I both feel like changed that whole momentum of the game back to Bushland. There was back-to-back pressures and sacks by Jackson.
Yes.
And that forced the punt, and then the punt to Reese.
Yes.
And, man, Reese makes, I call that the B move on the Xbox, the spin move. And the kid just hits all 4s, but then he gets a great run back on that punt as well. At that point, you could see the demeanor change on both sides of the ball. I really do. I think the momentum shifted. Falcons come out, man, they're just like pumped up. Yeah. But you could see Lamesa's like, because it was just like I said, the back-to-back sacks.
Absolutely.
And then the punt return. So I thought Reese just played a really good ball game to help the team in that third quarter get moving.
Oh, yeah. You know, big games like that, you're looking for big momentum changers for you, not against you.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, Reese did a great job of making some plays, you know, offensively. He's got some juice to him, you know, and he was able to do that and give us a shot in the arm. Special teams. He had a great punt return where he fielded it, won a great punt, did a good job of still fielding it off one bounce and making a guy miss, making a couple guys miss, giving us some, good field position. That gets the sideline going. That gets everybody going. I think another special teams play that I thought was big for us was after we scored. I can't remember if we pushed it to 14, 17, 19, whatever it was, and we kick it off, and it kind of goes through the guy's hands, and he kicks it around back there.
You get him at
and then Evan tackles him at like the 5 or the 7, and just a big hit, those are the things you got to have, in playoff games. As I think back through the years, there's always those defining moments, in big playoff wins where you have things like that we create, or you either create or you don't, and those were some moments there, some defining moments where I felt like you said, big momentum changers for us.
Yeah. Like that big, John Maxwell calls that the big mo. The big mo, right? The big mo. So, well, and overall, I thought our district, River Road loses their game, but everybody else wins. Shallow gets a big win, 60-0, and then Dalhart gets another big win, 57-7. So 3 out of the 4 teams advance. So
and I think
good win for the district.
I think because since us playing on Thursday and kind of keeping up with some of those games on Friday, and I think River Road was in it for a while.
Yeah,
they just weren't able to score, and obviously you got to score to win. But it was closer than some people may have thought there for a long time. So it was good weekend for our district.
So moving on to this week now. Of course, we were talking. It's like how long is it before you just start looking at film? And it's like, well, but basically, I just started the next morning, basically, right? So Jim Ned. They advanced. I say the next morning. They played Friday night, so it's Saturday morning. But they advanced. That's who we have in Lubbock this week. What have you seen on film? Is it a traditional Jim Ned team, or they thrown a few wrinkles in it? What are you seeing on film that's standing out to you at this point?
Yeah, they're a really good football team. They're 10-1. They still, compared to when we played them 3 years ago, they're probably a little more spread oriented from their base offense, gun stuff. But they're still a power football team. They want to be a physical football team. They're going, even though they're in the shotgun, they're still going to run counter power, do some bootlegs, and they have a real tough running back, good physical, big offensive lineman, quarterback that's really good, that can deal it. He can run it. He throws it, has several weapons. That receiver that, when you're in there loading the box trying to stop that run game, it kind of turns into a simple game. It turns into numbers and angles and stuff like that. And when you load up to stop the run, they have some guys at receivers that can, win some one-on-one battles. And, that's kind of what football comes down to, is winning one-on-one battles, whether you're talking about in the trenches or in the outside. It all comes down to doing your job and winning one-on-one battles. So they're a good physical football team. Defensively, they're really good. Up their 3-4 defense, play fast. They haven't given up a ton of points this year for the most part. And, there's going to be a challenge, but it's a challenge we're looking forward to, and we feel like we can match up to it.
So when you look at this game, do you approach it any differently? Not that we want to give away any keys, but is your approach a little different with them versus, say, Lamesa last week? I know they're different football teams, but does your philosophy change a little bit as you go into this game?
Well, you always want to try to be true to what you are and what you do. We're always going to try to be aggressive and apply pressure on defense. We're always going to try to play fast with some tempo and try to make you play our game if possible. But I do think, sometimes week to week, and then you get in a game sometimes, you got to be able, as a coach, you got to be able to feel the flow of the game too, to whatever gives you a chance to win. At this point, we talked about with the kids, it doesn't matter how you do it. You just try to win and then advance to the next round. Whether you have to get in a shootout and win 56-55, or whether you win in a 3-0 ball game where it's a defensive battle, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be ugly. The bottom line is finding a way to survive and advance and get to the next round. So I mean, we're always going to try to play our game, to answer your question, but you know, you always have to be able to adjust to the flow of the game and kind of understand. All right, you know, like I said, we've been in all sorts of those types of games. We've been in those where we tried to have to outscore people. We've been in those where, all right, you know, both defenses are playing really good. You know, we can't get crazy and turn the ball over and shoot ourselves in the foot and shoot ourselves out of the game early. You want a chance to win the game. So, you know, we're going to be us, but, you know, there's going to be some things that we do different, you know, and but we're going to be aggressive always and try to win the game.
Well, I mean,
it sounds like to me, I'll just say, it's kind of setting up, but I don't know if this is true or not. It's setting up to me, it could be a defensive battle type of game tonight.
Yeah, could be.
Because both defenses seem really pretty solid.
Yeah.
Obviously, offenses are, but it does seem like it's setting up to be maybe a lower scoring defensive game, which is a good game from a spectator.
Sure.
I love those kind of games. From a coach, you're like, no, I want to score a lot of points and don't let them score a lot of points. But that's what it kind of seems like. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Well, you know, you don't. I see where you're looking at there, and I've also done it, and it may end up being like that. But I've coached enough games too, where there's times where I thought that and it turned out, and there's times where I thought that, and then all of a sudden it turns into one. You're like, well, I didn't see
how
this
we
one
score
coming.
50, right?
Exactly. So, and you know, y'all seen it too. I mean, you just got to get in the game, and both teams are going to try to impose their will and do what they do, and then you got to adjust accordingly. You know.
It's an interesting setup tonight, I think.
You want a chance to win.
Sure.
You know, if you can get in there and do your thing and blow somebody out, great. You're at the point now where in the second round, everybody's pretty good. Everybody's either pretty good to really good. You know what I mean? And I don't care how it looks. You know, I just want a chance to win. We get to the second half, we get to the fourth quarter. I think that favors us. You know, with them being the quote unquote favorite. You know, I think the pressure's on them. You know, and I think the longer we can be in the game and have a chance to win, the more that puts pressure on them. And you know, hopefully we make the plays. We've been in a lot of those. You know, this year. You go back through the season. This is where you hope your experiences from non-district and even district games pay off.
Those tough games.
You know,
yeah.
Week 2, we're at Canadian. Not an easy place to win. You know, in the fourth quarter with the chance to win the game. That's what you want. You know, obviously we didn't get it done. We're on the road at Midland Christian the next week, you know, against a good team in the fourth quarter with the chance to win and overtime with the chance to win. Didn't get it done, but we've been in there. We've been there with the knowing what that feels like with the opportunity. You know, we've been there, shallow water, you know, battling back and forth, lose a 2-point game, you know. And then we've won some of those. You know, we're on the road at Perryton. Nip and tuck all the way, fourth quarter, find a way to win a 1-score game. On the road at Andrews, you know, tight game, had chances to kind of pull away, didn't, but we're right there. It's a 2-point game, and midway through the fourth quarter, we find a way to pull it out. So we've been there. Our experiences, we've been there. We have to kind of rely on those experiences and draw from those experiences a little bit. And, you know, get to that second half with a chance to win, and then you got to go make plays to do it.
Yeah, it is one of those things where usually as the underdog, I guess,
yeah,
calls that right. It's one of, okay, well, what you need to happen is everything needs to go kind of your way, right? Or you need to get those or make those plays, get those lucky bounces and things like that, whatever. But speaking of that, though, I think you're right on the experience. This schedule that we always have this pre-district schedule that I think it prepares us for games like what's going to happen tomorrow night. I think that's so true and getting us ready for that ball game. So offensively for us, what do you see? I mean, are there areas in their defense that we can attack? Of course, like he's going to answer, right? He's not going to answer this question. I'm just going to ask it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen some weaknesses? Have you seen some areas like, if we hit here, boom, this could make a big play for us.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing you're always looking at is, you know, you look at what defense they run and what you compare. All right, you go back in those other games earlier this season. You know the fronts that we faced. Did you go to those teams that we played that had similar fronts? What did we do good? how do we run the ball well against that front? Now, it's not the same personnel, but against those type of boxes, those type of fronts, what do we do well? What did we do well? What would we have done different to attack those? And then you can make it as complicated as you want, but you look at numbers, you look at grass, you look at angles when you're looking at offense. All right, if they have 7 people in the box to stop the run, that does not favor you running the ball. When you have 5, maybe 6 people, you have to start adding. All right, we got 5 linemen. We're gonna have to add a tight end because that gives us 6 now to block. Or you go tight end and you run your quarterback. Now that gives you 7 plus 1. You know what I mean? You got to look at numbers. If there's 7 in the box, then you're probably 1-on-1, or there's grass somewhere in the passing game, and you got to make plays in the passing game.
But it's got to be quick, right?
If they're a high blitz team, you probably got to throw some screens. A couple weeks ago, we knew we played River Road. They were going to be a high blitz team. We threw a lot of screens that game to try to take advantage of that quick pass game. So, you're right. I'm not going to give too much away right now. But
come on, Coach.
I hope you're getting to understand. You're getting kind of the coach speak a little bit. But it's just we have to look at where at the numbers in the box, and that's why I think the run game and pass game feed off each other so well, because in order for us to, if they're going to play outside linebackers close in the box and play the run, we've got to be able to execute a pass game that widens those outside linebackers.
Sure.
And then when you start widening those backers and there are more pass guys, now all of a sudden you got a 5-man box and you try to run the ball. So it's just a deal of what you can do. As long as and this is any game in any offense, but if you get in there and you can't throw the ball, those guys, all of a sudden that box comes tight.
Oh, yeah.
And there's outside backers in there, and there's safeties creeping in there. So your play action pass has to be good. Your bootlegs have to be good. Your screen game has to be good. You've got to win some shots downfield 1-on-1. And then as they start adjusting and the safeties play deeper and outside backers play wider, you have to look, all right, it's 5-on-5 in the box. Now we need to run the ball. So it's just a matter of what you can do, what they're giving you. And again, it comes down to coaches seeing that and adjusting, and it comes down to players winning 1-on-1 battles. And that's the game of football, in a nutshell. And it doesn't matter what defense or what offense you're running. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
I thought even on one play last week, fooled our camera guy, fooled Mark and
Me
I.
too.
And I'm like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
He was.
Next thing you know, he's 20 yards down the field,
That was, and he held that ball forever before he pulled it out. But fooled everybody. Our camera guy's like, oh no, he's back over here. So
and that's stuff that,
that's good.
You want to do. You got to be able to do to keep defenses honest is, especially in a spread type offense, when you're running counter, you're running zone read stuff, and guys are running you down in the backfield from the defensive end spot or outside linebacker spot. You read that and you pull it and you make them pay. And it was good to see him do that. I said a couple of times, it caught me off guard a little bit. And I know looking back on film, it was funny looking back on film because he pulls it, and I don't know that anybody on the defense or the offense noticed it. And he ran there for a while, and finally the safety came off and made a play about 15, 20 yards downfield. But
he was definitely a good 10 or 15 before anybody.
Oh yeah, and that's that's another weapon to have when you can do that. So you just want to keep those guys honest.
Well, there's some pretty good matchups this week. Dalhart's at Paradise, or Dalhart and Paradise, and then Peaster and Shallowater. That's 2 pretty good draws for those 2 teams too. So that's a tough district for sure.
Like I said, everybody's a good football team in some way right now, and for our district, we'll see some good matchups, and it's a good region when you look at it. It's I think it's for anybody, it's a winnable region. But there's some really good football teams, and you see some of those guys that have been, historically the last 5-6 years we've been up there ranked in the top 10, top 5, top 3 at times, and I think you see that in our region. I think different times this year. You've had Jim Ned in the top 5. You've had Paradise in the top 3 to 5. You've had, Peaster in the top 3 to 5, those ones we talked about. Shallow Water's kind of, been in there and back out a little bit. So, Vernon's another team in our region that's had a really good season that, a lot of coaches know they're a good football team. They've been in top 10. So it's a good, tough region, but, that's why you go play the games. There's upsets every week, and there's teams that go down, and you have to be willing. You have to be willing to believe, number one, if you're going to do it, you have to be willing to believe it can be done. You have to be willing to play and get in the fight for 4 quarters, because they're going to make some plays. They're going to do some good things that, that's a part of playoff football. That's a part of playing good teams. They're going to make some plays. How are you going to respond? Are you going to respond? All right, it's over. Here we go. Are you going to get back in the fight? You're going to swing back. Are you willing to get in a fist fight for 4 quarters? And that's when those things happen. And you got to take some chances. As players, as coaches, you got to swing the sword. You got to take some chances, and then you got to make plays.
Looking across Amarillo area, the Panhandle area, and teams did really well last week across the board. I look at that 4A Division I group. Randall advanced, Dumas advanced, West Plains advanced, Canyon advanced.
Yeah.
But boy,
I think we played 3 of the 4 of those teams.
Yeah.
Either in the scrimmage
or
or
played 3 or 4.
Yeah. So
I mean,
really good to see them advance. But poor Dumas gets Stephenville next, and that's going to be a battle.
Yeah,
But
it will.
they can put up some points, as we know.
They can.
I mean, they can definitely put up some points.
Yeah, and I think, just scoreboard watching, I haven't seen Stephenville, but looking at scores, they've been really good. But like I said, it's
any given
Friday. Weird things happen. That football is not round, perfectly round like a basketball. It bounces weird. Weird things happen. Dumas with that quarterback and those offensive weapons, anything can happen.
Some of the scores last week were crazy, by the way.
There was some-
West Plains 85-0.
Yeah. There were some high scoring games. There were some blowouts, and then then there's the other. For the most part, that's what it was. But there was also, I think I read, where there was 22 4 seeds
There were 22 4 seeds across the state that did win.
that did win, which is still a lower percentage.
That's a pretty low percent, but
That's
still.
22 teams that probably weren't expecting to win that had something magic happen.
Yeah,
So
so pretty good. And PD and Tascosa drew the short end, getting the lead over pretty quick.
yeah, right off the bat. Yeah.
But excited to see PD play as well. Good to see them have some success over there.
Absolutely.
And we played them in the past when we were up at 4A. We actually got to
Yeah, we played them. We actually did some 7-on-7 with them in May,
Mhm.
this past May, and they came over to our place once. We went over there and did some 7-on-7, and knew that they were pretty talented then.
Yeah.
You could tell.
So fun to watch across the Panhandle. Definitely seeing some success and big games going on this weekend. So.
Well, and then we have another big matchup this weekend that's happening Friday morning.
Right. Yeah.
Friday morning, 11 a.m., the Bushland Lady Falcons will go for their 3rd consecutive state championship, which is pretty impressive. I mean, the people from Goliad last year asked me, they said, "Do you just have your annual reservation here?" And I'm like, "I do, actually."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so as the athletic director, I just want to give you an opportunity to speak to the ladies, and because I know that they're up right now. Coach Culpepper's already probably got them in the gym working out. They're probably paying attention to the show right now, so they're listening to you. So any encouraging words from the athletic director to those?
Well, it's just overall, it's just incredible. What they've been able to do with that. With the program, winning all those state championships and getting there, it's hard to do. So if you want to use the word dynasty, I think we're there. We're past there probably. So that speaks to years of the program and both different players and different coaches,
This team loses 10 seniors last year, and they're right back to it.
Yeah, and so that, then that transitions to the girls, the players, and obviously Coach Culpepper and the coaches and how they've been able to mold this team and get them ready for the right moment at the right times. But just congratulations, to the girls to be able to, like you said, most of those girls were either on the JV last year or probably, and most of them not playing a ton on the varsity. So just for them to step in at their turn, at their moment, congratulations, and they know as well, as we do, and the job's not done yet. They have one more that they want to check off the list, and it's exciting times. This week, it's exciting times. It can be difficult for administrators, for athletic directors, for coaches, for fans, when you have, I personally wish we could broadcasters, yeah, anybody, cheerleaders, it's hard.
You got to get from Garland now.
It's a good problem to have because not very many people are in this situation. I don't know how many this year, if there's any, I don't know. There's probably a decent chance where you're playing at a state championship, but you're also playing at a playoff football game round 2. That's a privilege, and something that we probably maybe take for granted a little bit,
because we seem to be
in that situation a lot. So it's a good problem, but it can be difficult in trying to schedule. That's why we're playing at 7:30 football Friday.
I appreciate that because last year the 7 o'clock kickoff.
Well, it was 7 o'clock kickoff last year, but we also played at 1 volleyball. And that first game went long.
That's right.
The 11 o'clock volleyball game, went long. So we started late.
Yeah.
So by the time everybody got out of there, they couldn't make it to Childress on time. So I think cheerleaders got there at halftime. And
we did too.
You did too. And you can't do anything about it. That's just part of it, when you have success like that. So at least this year, we play the 11 o'clock volleyball.
Yes.
And 7:30. So I don't think there's a game before.
There's not.
I was going to say, is there a game before?
There's not a game before.
So we'll start on time.
Should start on time.
Start on time.
Should, knock on wood.
We're going to win in 3. Come on, girls. Win in 3.
And then everybody that needs to, they can load up and get to Lubbock. I think it's 5 hours, just over 5.
Just a little over 5. I've already mapped it out.
Yeah.
How am I? I've got my sources. I'm trying to get a police escort out of town.
Okay.
Out of that
luck
Dallas
with that.
traffic. Okay,
Yeah,
come
good
on,
luck
somebody,
with
right? But I mean, hey, but it is fun. I mean, and that's what, like you said, not everybody gets to do this,
Right.
And this is so much fun. So I'm excited that we're actually going to go down tonight, and that way we're not to wake up at 3 and leave in the morning, because I make tomorrow really long.
And then drive to Lubbock, and then drive home.
Yeah.
How many broadcasters in the state get to go call a state championship game and then 5 hours later be calling a playoff football game?
I'm telling you, not many.
Yeah.
Not many. And that's why I'm telling you, we've been doing this for so long. In fact, one of our memories popped up on Facebook this morning. Now, it was before he and I even began broadcasting, but 2015, we're in the state championship match. And we've got a big group over here at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all gathered around the TVs at the church. Something happened. They went down. So we're gathered around like a screen like this, just sitting here watching everybody. I mean, you can see everybody. But I'm telling you, it is a lot of fun. And so we're looking forward to that tomorrow. I can't wait. I mean, and that feel of just being there at the championship, the atmosphere is electric. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it's a great time and a great reminder for all of us and fans and community just to realize how fortunate we are, how blessed we are, and sometimes you take those things for granted, successes you have and whatever it is. But man, we got some good kids, some great kids, some great coaches, and, just enjoy, the moments. And that's what I try to tell parents sometimes, especially having one that's been through now and gone through it and has left. Don't forget to enjoy the moments and enjoy the times, because, it could be, there's a lot of ups and downs and lots of, in the journey, there's a lot of different things that happen, whether you're a parent, whether you're a community member, a fan, whatever it is, enjoy them, enjoy the moments, enjoy the travel, enjoy the good times, enjoy the bad times, just because, at some point they're going to be gone, and it's a good place to be.
We had Lainey Adams on our other show a couple of weeks ago, and I loved what she said. She said, I remember as a girl being in the stands and watching my sister play in the state championship and thinking, oh man, I can't wait to get there. I want to be there someday. And just that excitement now, she doesn't know anything but a state championship run, you know, because she's had it her freshman year and she had it her sophomore year, and now she's going for a third. But just to talk about tradition and program, you know, to hear her side of the story from watching her big sister play, and then now she's sitting there and her big sister's there with her, you know, part of the time. So pretty cool when you talk about program and tradition. So,
Yeah,
it's cool.
It is
All
very
right.
neat.
We're about to lose battery.
We're about to lose everything here, it looks like, and so we better wrap this up. We
All
went a
right.
little long today talking about some volleyball action as well, but we want to thank you, Coach, again for taking time to sit with me and Chris every Thursday morning here. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Maybe we can have a Thursday morning. We'll just sit down and talk.
All right.
You know, I'm looking forward to that. So
Yeah, let's do it.
we can do that. And but guys, make sure you tune in. Okay, the NFHS broadcast will be for the state championship. Will be on YouTube, and it'll just be me. All right, and I'm trying to get Tatum to join me, but she's not going to do that, I don't think. But anyways, it is just an audio only for the state championship. You can tune in to NFHS and get their broadcasters, or you can mute their broadcasters and put me on. All
There you
right,
go.
whichever one you want to do. All right, and then we'll load up. We're going to head straight to Lubbock, and then we'll be ready to call an area round football matchup between the Bushland Falcons and the Jim Ned Indians, and looking forward to got a gold state championship and another gold ball. That's what I'm hoping we get tomorrow. And so tune in for all the fun. Again, kickoff 7:30, not 7. It's 7:30 tomorrow night.
And if Mark's not there, I'll be there early to get set up,
Yes.
so we'll be good. His headset will be ready when he walks in the door. So
When I run into the
Yeah.
door, right? Well, I don't run much these days. So, anyways, I'm getting too old, Coach. I got a big birthday this year. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, next month, here it comes. So, anyways, all right, Coach, thanks again.
Thank you.
Chris, appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in to Bushland Falcon Media. It's Bushland Falcon Media, where every game, well, if I could hit the right button, there
comes
goes,
to life.
comes to life. Every game comes to life. We'll see you guys.
Bushland Coffee Company was founded so the community would have a convenient location to connect with others while enjoying healthy drinks and nutritious snacks. Our mission is to nourish our customers and our community with our culture and our coffee. Our values include joyful service, healthy nutrition, and community fellowship. Come by and get a drink and a snack Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 7 to 6 p.m. Go Falcons!